The Development Partnership Administration is a reflection of the New World Order, India's initiative to offer aid to developing countries around the world. P.S. Raghavan is Special Secretary DPA at the Ministry of External Affairs, and I think for a moment we need to pause and explain the objective and the genesis of the DPA itself, because it's a concept that is still fairly new to India.
Okay. Let me start by pointing out that what we give to developing countries is not aid. It is, as the name implies, a development partnership. Also, I would like to say that this is not new. It's not a new line in India's foreign policy. India has been sharing its development experiences with the world since the 1960s. You know, since it was part of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's dream.
But surely in terms of commitment of resources and the structure that's been created formally, it is new to that extent.
No, I'll say this, that we started with capacity building in the early 1960s. The scope and range of our development partnership increased enormously in the 2000s. What we've done today with the establishment of a development partnership administration is to provide sharper focus to an important dimension of India's foreign policy, and perhaps to lend greater coherence to its delivery. So it is an implementation mechanism that provides greater focus to this dimension of foreign policy. So that's what it is, the Development Partnership Administration.
Well, thank you for that. But to what extent does it tie in with the GrowthNet, which refers to a new group of emerging economies that are the focus of attention because of the growth that they offer, and hence the mind space they occupy, but at the same time the set of challenges they face? To what extent does the DPA dovetail with the GrowthNet?
See, the GrowthNet is, as far as I understand it, the coming together of a group of economies or a group of representatives from economies which are emerging, which are strengthening, and I think it will also include in it developed economies. But the point is that we, as countries of the South, the developing economies and the larger countries of the South, have certain common perspectives. Now, in Development Partnership Administration as well, one of the things that we are looking at is dialogue with other developing countries with similar development partnership programs to see whether we can find synergies in this. We are also beginning a dialogue with developed country aid agencies, with whom we have not seen eye to eye in the past because their objectives were different from ours, their manner of implementation was different from ours. We are trying to see whether there are ways in which we can now talk about identifying some common objectives that we can pursue together. So it's also a dialogue between developing and developed countries on partnership. There it mirrors something of what the GrowthNet is trying to do.
Okay, when I use the word aid, you were very clear in saying this is not about aid.
Yeah.
But we can call it a development partnership, but a component of it is resources that India is going to make available, financial in nature as well. Is there a sum which really puts this plan into perspective?
No, why we don't call it aid is that this is supposed to be sharing of development experiences with other developing countries to mutual benefit, which is very different from the concept of aid. Aid is a concept of giving. This is a concept of sharing to mutual benefit. That's the reason. Now, in terms of a financial outlay, these are available from our budget documents, and there are three kinds of assistance that we give actually. One is capacity building, which is courses that we offer to a very large number of people from developing countries in various institutions in India. We send across experts. We set up institutions for capacity building in developing countries. This is one strand of it. Another one is the lines of credit, which is actually concessional loans that the Government of India extends. Actually, it is Exim Bank that extends the loan. Government of India merely bridges the gap between the interest rate charged to the receiving countries and the rate at which Exim Bank raises finances. So that's another strand of it. The third one is projects that we implement with our grant assistance. We do a lot of this in our neighborhood, as you are probably aware. I mean, if you look at Afghanistan or Nepal or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or Myanmar, We have a number of grant assistance projects, mainly motivated, mainly inspired by their development priorities. These are, in fact, in recent weeks, there has been quite a bit in the media about how our development cooperation budget has also been cut, like all the other budgets of all the other ministries of the Government of India.
And yet you don't think that's going to diminish the efforts of the administration in any way?
Well, all of us have to function within the constraints of national fiscal requirements. So we will continue to implement our program. We will continue to see where we can perhaps seek more funds later in the year.
Is it fair to pose a question to you on which nations are a priority as far as the DPA is concerned? Or that's not really fair in this context?
Well, it's not really fair because, you know, we deal with the entire developing world. If you talk about quantum, the quantum of financial outlay is naturally greatest for our neighboring countries. But if you look at, for example, lines of credit, over the last 10 years, we've had about $9.2, $9.3 billion worth of lines of credit extended to developing countries. Nearly 60% of it is to Africa. So there are different areas in which we look at different ways in which
we look at these
the
areas.
developing countries. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Raghavan, great talking to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.